You may have heard that I have a significant restriction placed on me, and I have to be cautious about what I say and speak about on social media. A few weeks ago, I was arrested and charged, and part of my conditions for release was a silencing of my opposition on a number of public policies that I've been very outspoken about over the last couple of years. So I'm going to be cautious about what I say today so that I don't land myself in any further hot water. But I do want to let everyone know that I am appealing these bail conditions. The matter will be heard in the Ontario courts in Ottawa on April 28th. And I hope to once again be able to speak loudly and often about these public policies that are causing so much harm and detriment to our society. 2 years ago, when I first began speaking out about the government's response to COVID and society's general willingness to go along with these measures, I saw a significant danger ahead, and that was that we as a country were embracing policies and procedures that are more reminiscent of a communist authoritarian regime than of a free and democratic society. This dangerous path that we began over 2 years ago now in Ontario is becoming more entrenched, more solidified, and our willingness to become a communist authoritarian regime is increasing, not decreasing. So let me first begin by saying, if you do want to help take this muzzle off me, if you do want to help out in ensuring that I can continue to be your advocate for freedom, the rule of law, and democracy in our country, you can help me out through the donate at nomorlockdowns.ca, or you can also do an email transfer to my legal defense fund at donate at nomorlockdowns.ca, or you can also send a check if you're concerned about electronic transfers. You can send a check to Randy Hillier, 787 Wildlife Road, Perth, Ontario, K7H3C5. But let me go back to what happened in Ontario just last week that further entrenches this view that we are embracing a communistic regime here. Last week, all parties in the provincial legislature adopted a measure called Bill 100. Bill 100 permits and further legalizes the theft and seizure of people's assets, cars, vehicles, license plates, suspends driver's licenses, and can impose penalties of up to $10 million and up to a year in jail if anyone is deemed to be impeding the public's access to transportation routes and border crossings, and or whatever other areas the Ontario government deems. Through their regulations, they are permitted to deem any public space a prohibited zone for any obstruction, obstacle, or impediment to the access, egress, or use of that public road, bridge, facility, building, whatever the case may be. And what is so troubling about this bill, in addition to granting the government the authority to act unilaterally and arbitrarily without warrant, and it also allows them to act without a court order, and nor does it provide a court remedy. If they seize your assets, your vehicle, your commercial vehicle, your truck, there is no mechanism to compel the government to have the matter heard in court and a court to adjudicate. You can ask for an appeal, but it doesn't have to be granted. It also grants the Crown complete immunity, and anybody who acts on behalf of the Crown, complete immunity of their actions when they seize your assets and properties. So just bear that in mind. This is really what the Doug Ford government, with the blessing of all other political parties in Ontario, have done. They have taken the Emergency Measures Act provisions of Justin Trudeau, who enacted them in February of this year, and has now made them a permanent fixture in Ontario. Our government, its law enforcement agencies, any peace officer can seize and have your property forfeited without a warrant and without a court remedy provided. These are dangerous times that we've taken on in the last 2 years. They're getting worse. They're getting more established, more accustomed, acclimatized. People are becoming accepting of these as permanent features of our society. And indeed, one other example, of course, is myself being arrested for being an outspoken critic of our government, being detained and held for over 10 hours in Ottawa, having to seek a judge's blessing to release me from jail, with those added conditions that I cannot speak about certain subjects, nor can I support groups that I have supported in the past, nor can I encourage people to support groups that we've supported in the past. This is not a free country. It's not a free country when dissidents, when people with different opinions are incarcerated for having those opinions. It's not a free country when people can be deprived of their wealth, their assets, their vehicles, their property without a court order and without court remedy. And it's not a healthy and free or democratic country when all political parties have the same view and opinion. Unlike, communist countries of yesteryear, the USSR, or even North Korea today, we can all see that it is communist and dictatorial because there was only one party. There was no opposition. But here in Ontario, and indeed Canada, we may have 4 different parties, but we only have one opinion. They are all supporting these unlawful, unconstitutional, excessive, and unwarranted attacks against the people of Ontario and Canada. Help me out. Help me out on my legal defense. I know these trumped-up charges I will be either acquitted or they'll be withdrawn or I'll be found not guilty. I have no doubt about that. The charges, in my view, are significantly trumped up. I've seen the evidence. It is wholly without merit, in my view. And I know I will be successful and win in court. But I'm also certain in this is that our government and law enforcement is using the courts to abuse and suppress people who have a different view and are willing to speak out. So help me out. Donate at nomorlockdowns.ca, or by email transfer, or by check or money order. And let's speak loudly, often, and not stop in ending this tyranny that we have embraced in our country, and work with me and work together with others so that our children and our grandchildren can have a prosperous, successful future just as we have.